Hey guys, Phantom139 here, and welcome back to my Destiny Thoughts series. This video is not associated with my State of Destiny 2 series that I have going on, but this video will follow a very similar format to those State of Destiny 2 videos. As I mentioned back in December, I'd only do one of these if something big in the community came up that needed a discussion point, and lo and behold, here we are. So today we're going to discuss the Corridors of Time event and provide my discussion thoughts on what happened. So let's get into it. First and foremost, for those of you who are unaware about it, a mission launched on the 14th from Osiris to explore the Corridors of Time, the Vex-influenced area that happened in the two Saint 14 missions that launched at the beginning of Season 9. A major difference, however, with this Explore the Corridors of Time was that each of the paths seemed to be infinite, and that a symbol was associated with each path that you could go through. At the same time, the four obelisks that were placed at the four destinations, EDZ, Nessus, the Tangled Shore, and Mars, started to have a set of seven symbols that would rotate each hour 19 times for a series of 19 combinations. And when players discovered to read these from the topmost to the lowermost, it would show a path that they could follow in the corridors of time. When they did so, what would happen is the player would arrive in a room, and a larger sequence of glyphs separated into 6 quadrats with 7 symbols on each was found. Players quickly discovered that they could match these pieces together in a puzzle piece format. And these puzzle pieces would act like a big puzzle board, and you would have to line up the jigsaw pieces together to form what looked like a maze, with a series of symbols on each one designating a path to follow. And what happened was, when the initial 19 were combined into a big chart, a path of 11 nodes was discovered. And when players reached the room at the end of the 11 nodes, they were given an emblem, but another prompt that said reveal instead of 3 question marks. When they actually did this, they saw a larger puzzle piece, again with the 6 quadrats and 7 icons, but players quickly noticed that they were seeing different pieces, and thousands of different pieces started to be determined, indicating that this would be another community-wide event on the scale of the Niobe Labs event in the Black Armory expansion. So what happened was a group of community members put together a resource to bring together all of these puzzle pieces to generate a map. This event lasted 5 full days with a little bit of time after that. And finally what happened is, after all the hours of work that happened, the route was solved. It was a 30-piece route, so you had to go through 30 different doors. Players pushed through the corridors one final time to be given the true reward of the event, the final reward. It was actually called The End, which was a bit of dialogue and the start of the Bastion quest. Now there's just one major problem. Bastion was announced as a quest on Bungie's roadmap for Season 9 that was going to launch on the 28th of January, so a week from this video being recorded. So what's wrong with that? Well, the problem here was that this was an expectation of a secret mission. So the end reward was expected to be something else that was secret, something on the scale of the Whisper mission or the 0-hour mission. Playing the puzzle would do something like, oh, here's your next 20-minute mini dungeon mission. There was a cool exotic hidden behind it, something for us to discover, something to be excited about. But the fact is that the Bastion quest was both labeled as a release on the 28th, and that it was completely data mined already by the community. So this kind of shot down any notions that the community had that this could be possibly tied to this Corridors of Time event. And unfortunately, that's what happened here. So it ended up being the Bastion. It ended up being nothing more than a reward that players weren't really all that excited to get. So this is where I feel like the incredibly low shot on behalf of Bungie comes from. I'm not sure which of Bungie's team deserves the blame on this one, but just because they felt obligated to place Bastion on the roadmap for the sake of showing the seasonal offerings is what I would consider pure malfeasance on the part of Bungie. Now, I've heard the argument from Bungie saying that, oh, we needed to put Bastion on the roadmap because we need to show what the seasonal offerings are for a business perspective. Well, here's the problem with that. Game developers are not required under any kind of provisions or laws in the United States to list exactly what is included in released content. Studios do that all the time. They just announce what the content is in terms of like a name, provide a little trailer, and that's it. They don't say everything that's coming in there. So why exactly was Bastion on the roadmap? If it was tied to a large-scale community puzzle event, having the roadmap show something like Corridors of Time on the 14th instead of Bastion would have been a much better option, and I think the community would have been more accepting of Bastion as the reward at that point. Additionally, Bastion is what I would consider another Year 3 exotic weapon. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean the kind of exotic weapons that you play around with for 10 to 15 minutes and then throw it in your vault, because they're terrible. I said this before to Bungie, especially in my October video and again in my December video. But you guys really need to get out of PvP land. Let go of sandbox balance. Destiny will never be a competitive esports compatible title, so start treating the game as a PvE-centric MMO game, where you actually have these tools that are really powerful and worth hunting for. This would have been a perfect opportunity to have something on the scale of a Galahorn level power come out of. The amount of community input to it, a hard mission at the end, make everyone run the Corridors of Time. I get that it's time gated, but you could have done something at the end of the season to replace that. But this did not go well. Finally, Bungie has been completely silent since this ended 2 days ago. Now, the teams at Bungie have been completely silent following the backlash that the community have given you. You know damn well, Bungie, that the community is completely upset regarding what happened here, and we want an explanation. It's much better for your teams to come out and recognize the faults that happened here and apologize to the community, especially to those who put in all of this time and effort to solve the puzzle for everyone else, instead of letting it simmer like you always do. This, in turn, what you have done, remaining silent and continuing to remain silent on it, will kill any future desires of the player base to participate in these puzzles if we know that all we're going to get at the end is another ridiculous exotic that we already know about that's coming that won't really make us excited under any circumstances. Bungie had the Niobe lab failures in year 2, and now they're going to have the Corridors of Time for year 3 in the notoriety of the franchise's history. The player base has been declining, Bungie. This is not going to help you here. I brought this up in my video last month. You're only hurting your own bottom line by doing stuff like this. So, what needs to happen moving forward? First and foremost, Bungie, get off of your cloud of "we are holier than thou" attitude that all of your development teams seem to live on. Get engaged with this community on a more day-to-day basis. And I mean getting your developers themselves to talk to people in the community. Don't just have your community managers, Cosmo, Damage, even Deej come out to the Reddit or the Bungie forums and say, "We're listening." That's not going to cut it anymore. I want to see your developers actually get out there and engage in conversations with community members on why or why not certain things can or can't happen, and give us more of the mindset on exactly why you're doing what you're doing. Many other game studios have had similar problems that you are having. I'm talking about Massive with The Division, even Gearbox with some of their Borderlands titles. They went the route of actually engaging with their community and inviting community members to come and talk with them, and then getting on with their own streams weekly to talk to the community. They actually saw major improvements in their games following this involvement because the developers themselves actually were able to gauge directly what the players wanted, and they had a better understanding of exactly what the community was looking for. Not this one person coming to a meeting every week or so and saying, "Well, the community thinks X," based on 1 or 2 massively trending topics in the Reddit. That's not going to work. You can quickly see how many important feedback points, some that are buried under these much larger Reddit topics, can be tossed aside for a lack of better saying. Get out there and talk with people, Bungie. It's better to get ahead of the curve here. Also, whoever is designing these puzzles, I really want you to come out and put your foot down in regards to rewards moving forward. If you understand that your puzzle is going to take a large amount of community effort, then you need to be the one to sit down in those meetings and say, hey, look, the community needs to be rewarded with a really, really powerful weapon in regards to this. Anyone at Bungie, anyone could have told you that had you had your roadmap, say Bastion on the 28th, and then you made this quarters of time reward with this massive puzzle, reward the Bastion quest, that there would have been this level of backlash. If we knew about this, if the community knew about this, the puzzle solvers would probably still be out there doing this today because people wouldn't have been interested in it. They would have been like, oh, this is for Bastion? Nah, I'll wait till the 28th. And finally, Bungie, fix your community outlets. Get a better understanding on the problems with the reward structures in this game. I said this in December. Your reward structures are terrible right now. This is going to continue to be a major talking point in my State of Destiny 2 videos until you fix this. Your game is trying to shift to be an RPG game, but you're still living in this hybrid year 1, year 2 reward structure where you're afraid of pushing it over the edge of RPG MMO games. You said it in your own Vidoc. You want to just go all out. Well, that means going all out in the regards to the rewards too. I'm expecting that you take what happened here and you turn around in Season 10, Bungie. There better damn well be some awesome, powerful rewards that players want to spend their time to go out and hunt, or I guarantee you that this will probably be the last time that a lot of your players will consider buying a season pass for your game. And believe me, the Reddit is already on fire. You continue to ignore them. I don't know why, but you continue to ignore people. It's not going to go well. So, all in all, I mentioned this again in my October and December State of Destiny 2 videos, but it really seems like the problem that Bungie is having right now is they're flopping on the big stuff. And what I mean by this is either the execution of the event goes poorly or the rewards are not worth the effort that goes into the event. This was an epic community event on the scale the title hasn't seen in a very long time. And once again, it was ruined by the rewards. Additionally, as I mentioned, Bungie has continued to sit in silence since the conclusion of this event. They knew damn well that people were not satisfied with the reward, and they're not even acknowledging the criticisms or complaints. They're not even taking a stand in a position on the matter of either their forums or the community Reddit about why they did this. So what the hell, Bungie? What are you afraid of? More community backlash? You get this all the time. It's time to stand up and admit your failures, and it's time to fix the relationship with the community and then move on to Season 10. I mean, this is pretty much going to be the end of your season right here. I mean, this event here, there's not coming back from this at this point. So it's better just to get this season over with. Just make sure everything else goes as planned. Give some goodwill back to your community, and then make sure you do better next time. Please, Bungie, go back and then read again the major talking points of the community and right this wrong. The veterans are getting tired of this same old attitude with the direction the game is going in. We need to be wowed, and you need to have a lot more to show in your offerings moving forward. Finally, when it comes to secret things like puzzles, the rewards need to be secret as well. Don't make it something that we know is coming, like Bastion. That only breaks the interest with the puzzle and just causes dissatisfaction with the experiences as a whole. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about with this video today. Unfortunately, I had to do one of these videos because Bungie is continuing to sit in silence, and I need to get my talking point out there ahead of time. I'm tired of making these bashing videos, folks. Believe me, I want this game to do as well as you want it to do as well. I was really hoping that the rewards here would be something to wow me to make my first positivity video for a change, but unfortunately, here we are again. So, hopefully this is the last video I have to make about Season 9. I'm hoping there's no more spectacular debacles on failures for this season, and I will hold to my original schedule, and State of Destiny 2 will return at the start of Season 10. Well, if you hung around that long, please make sure to bring your own talking points into the video. I'd like to see your comments in regards to what you think about the quarters of time. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.